Welcome to my channel and welcome to my website. My name is Daryl and this is Programming in Any Language. The website is www.black-duck.com. It's where you'll find all my videos organized in logical order. When you have thousands of records in a file, one of the quickest ways to search for a single item in the file is by doing a binary search. Binary searches are extremely efficient, but to be efficient, they need to follow a set of rules. The first rule is to have a key element in the record to search on. For example, in a customer file, you may want to search on last name or a phone number or a customer number. All the other information in the customer record will be available to you when you find that name, phone number, or customer number. The second rule is that the file needs to be sorted, alphabetically or numerically, depending upon the data type. Rule 3 has us split the file in half. We determine which half our record is in and then keep splitting what's left until we have our match, or determine there is no match. Behind me you can see an array simulation. Basically, the simulation is taking an array and searching for an element to determine if the match is in the beginning of the array or in the end. When that is known, one half of the array is no longer necessary to search. We keep having the array and searching the remainder. The following video is part 1 of the binary search process that will allow us to search through a set of movies to determine what year the movie was released. Let's get started. Okay, we looked at the sequential search a while back and worked out pretty good, but it required a pass through the entire array a whole bunch of times if you're looking for something, or at least once throughout the array to find everything. You had to go through every element. This is the binary search algorithm we're going to be looking at right now. It's pretty interesting. Basically, the binary search is a clever algorithm that normally is more efficient than a sequential search. And right, you're looking at right now, you're looking at the pseudocode for the method that performs a binary search array, and it's relatively straightforward. You can see that there's a binary search. You pass an array and a value that you're going to be looking for, and then you look at the first and last elements of the array and something in the middle, and then you start to look at if what you're searching for is less than or greater than the middle piece. And if it's less than the middle piece, you change that middle piece to becoming the last and set a new middle piece up on top in between the first and the last. And you keep doing this over and over again. It's easier to see, I think, visually we'll kind of do it first to get a look at it. So let's go forward on this. Here's the code, what it actually looks like. You can see we're setting up a first variable, and then we set up the last is the array length -1, unless you have unless you're looking at a portion of the array. And I'll be doing that in an application, but later we'll have a 2,000 element array. We're only going to be looking at 900 and some elements, so you set up a max to be the last piece in there. But you still have the middle piece in there. And then you set a position called, just called position or whatever, and it's -1. If you find a match in your search, you'll have a value in there. It'll be the value of the index that you actually found. Otherwise, you leave it at -1. And that way, that return value to any application that called it or any method that called it, if it encounters the -1, it knows it did not find anything. It was lost. Then you do a loop, basically a loop right here, and you set up that middle to be equal to the first plus the last divided by 2. So that gives you the middle location there. And then you do the search. Is it set equal to the middle? And you do a find. If it's true, you found it, and you set the position up the middle. Otherwise, you set a new array up to the middle, and you decide whether you're less than or greater than, and repeat this loop over and over again until you find it. Here's a good example right here. This is an array my guys in. It's an 18 element array. It starts from 0 to 17. It's got everybody in there. The important thing is that the array has to be in alphabetical order, or numerical order, depending on if you're searching numbers. But it needs to be in alphabetical order. We've done that already for this array. It's in alphabetical order from Agnes McEnroy down to Yosemite. And we're looking for Foghorn in this particular search. So if we go forward in this thing, first thing we do is we set our first to 0. And we're pointing at this particular element in the array. Then we set our last to Yosemite. So we're looking at him. That's our max. We're looking at that. So that allows us to figure out, okay, that's going to be our range we're going to be looking at. He's somewhere in here, this Foghorn we're looking for. So what do we do next? Well, we set that position to -1. So we got that position set up. Then we go ahead and we set a Boolean to false. This is going to get us out of the loop, what we get into. So as long as we haven't found anything, our Boolean is set to false. If we find something, then it's true. and we'll get out of the loop. And begin that loop. We set our middle point to be halfway between the first and the last. It may not be exactly there, depending on if you get an odd number, but we can certainly put it in that place. And we point to this particular area, Marvin the Martian. So we then do a check to see if Foghorn is less than Marvin the Martian. And in this case, it is. That means we're going to be taking the last and moving it up to the middle and making a new middle. So what do? We put the last up in here, and then we go ahead and put our middle to point at Daffy here, and then we do a search. And we check to see if Foghorn is less than or greater than Daffy, and he's greater than Daffy in this case. So that means we're going to have a new first. First is going to come down here, and we're going to set up this small portion of the array to be searching for. We're narrowing it down. And so we go ahead and set our first up to Daffy, our last. Our new middle is going to be somewhere in between here, and we set that up as sixth. And this happens to land right on Foghorn, so we can actually do the search. Foghorn is equal to Foghorn, so we've got a true here. And so we're going to set our Boolean to true to get out. We set our position to 6, so we've got it here. And this 6, we use that not just for Foghorn, but if we're doing a parallel array, we'd be able to find that element as well. And we're going to do that in the application we're actually looking at shortly. We're going to have actually 2 arrays in there. We'll search on the first one, and the second one will be parallel to it. So any item we find in there, the matching elements are going to be used. And we'll find that in a movie array we're going to look at shortly. That found gets you out of the loop, and the position gives you that index to the element you're looking for. So we're going to do this movie search type application right here. Basically, we've got a number of movies going to be coming in. It's going to be a movie name. It's going to be put in. You enter the movie name in here, and it's going to give you the movie year that the movie actually came out. And it's going to be a search button right here. This clear is going to wipe out everything and allow us to do another search if we wish to. And then, of course, the exit button gets us out. What I did is I used a spreadsheet to keep track of all these movies. And they had a bunch of things in it besides the year and the movie date. It had a bunch of other stuff on there, and I pared that down. You can check this out in the file processing section, where we put together something reading a tab delimited file. It shows you how to actually read a spreadsheet. That's exactly what I did here. I read a file. I read the spreadsheet file and brought it in. In this case, it's comma delimited, but we have another one right here which we actually made it tab delimited, and it looks like this. So we end up with the years in here and all the movies in here. So I'm going to read this thing in and parse it out. So we have an array of movie years and an array of movie names. I need to sort this. So you can see it's not in alphabetical order. So we're going to need to sort this movie name into alphabetical order. And as we do that, we're also going to sort the years so they come with it. And it's very easy to do. You just have to remember that the positions are the same as the movie name. So when we actually move something in the movie area, we'll move the matching area, the matching year will get moved out as well and work that way. So you'll see all that kind of stuff, code happen as well. So let's go forward. We're going to end at this is what the movie thing looks like. We end up with 971 movies in our array of 2,000. We set up our movie name, enter it, and the movie near pops out. We hit search. And bang, 1931 pops up as the movie that this Aerosmith actually came out. So we're going to go ahead and do this now. I start by creating this form, and it's just called movie search. It's got a bunch of labels on it: number of movies, movie name, movie year, and 3 buttons on here. And I'll go to the name up here that we're using in the code here. This is called LBL number. So it's going to give us the movie numbers we've got here. This is going to be a text field called TXT movie name. Move this in a little bit so we can see that. And so we'll enter the movie name for search purposes, and then the movie year is going to pop into this LBL movie year piece. And then we have a search button, which is called button search, a button clear, and a button exit. We're going to program all those things and make those things work to make it happen. We don't need the toolbox anymore, so we'll close that off and give ourselves some more room here. And we'll go to this process and put this piece together. And the first thing we're going to do is, of course, the easy stuff, and that's double click on exit. And we'll get that exit button to come up, and we'll just type that in and give ourselves some code here. Close form, close application, list.close. Been doing that 1,000 times now. We're just fine on that. I also want to do the clear button real quickly and get that out of the way because it's not much to that. We'll go in here and we'll basically say clear text box and year label. That's all I want to do. So I'll just say txt movie name dot txt is equal to quote quote txt movie name dot focus is going to get put in there. We also want to set up the label, which is called label movie year dot text is equal to quote quote, and we're done there. So that piece is done as well. So now all I have to do is actually do the search piece on here and get ourselves ready. We do want to put our array together in our global area so we don't have to mess with it. So I'm going to double click on the form. Actually, I don't need to do that. I don't need the form load. We're going to use form load in a bit, but because I do want to bring in the array and then sort the array through form load. But before I do that, I want to set up the array in the global area. So I'll put it up in here, and I'll say a string array called str movies is equal to a new string of about 2,000. We don't know how many movies we're going to have, so we kind of just threw that number out there to give us some room so we could actually do that. And we'll set up movie array. Now we're going to set up another string called str year. And this is going to be a new string also of 2,000. This is going to be matching the names, the movie names. Set up year array. And we want an int called max. I'm not going to bother putting int max in front of that thing. I'm just going to use the word max. It's clear enough that I'm using it as an integer. And this will be the number of records in each array. Remember, they're going to be parallel, so we're going to be working with the movie array to do our searches. We're going to sort that movie array, and as we do that, we'll also sort the year array automatically. You'll see how that all can happen as we go forward in this. Okay, that puts us in good shape. So now we need our form load, and our form load is going to basically be, well, let's load the array. Load array. Because we have this text file out in our /bin/debug folder. So we're going to load array. We don't need to pass it anything because our array is out in the global area. So we'll just say load array, and we'll say I'd like to put that comma roughly where I've got the other ones, about like this, / load array. And I also want to sort array. And I'm going to do that in methods because I don't want to put it in this and cloud this thing up. So we'll create a method to do each of these things. And that's sort array. Okay, that sets the stage. The form has been created. The exit and clear buttons have been coded. 2 arrays have been set up in the global area. And form load has 2 method calls waiting to be coded. The first one will load the data. The second will sort the data. When that's done, we can code our search. To keep this manageable, we will look at those 2 methods in the next video. For now, I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to use the website for easy access to all my videos. If you get a chance, please subscribe. That way, you'll be notified when something new is available. We'll see you in the next video. Take care.